Welcome back to the Pittsburgh Basketball Show. I'm George Michalowski with PSN. Today, I have a very special guest here from Duquesne basketball, Kareem Rozier. Kareem, thanks so much, man. How you doing?
Man, thank you, George. I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, man.
So you are the first Duquesne player we're having on the show. I've been talking to some former Duquesne players that may come on in the future, so Dukes fans keep an eye out. But today we're talking to Kareem, man, and where I want to start is last year, beginning of the season, I went down to the game in Annapolis at the Naval Academy. You guys played Charleston, and you had probably your best game of the year offensively. 20
Yeah.
points. I think you had three threes. All of them seemed monumental. Was that the most fun you had on the court personally, like performing? Like you seemed like you were out of your mind that game.
Yeah. I most definitely would say that was for sure one of my best games in college, statistics wise. But, you know, my most fun I've had on court is the 18 championship, man. Doing that and being able to be a part of that, being a huge asset, to accomplishing that goal that we all had. That was probably, the most excitement and my favorite moment on the court for sure.
So what about this group? Like what about that group of guys last year allowed you guys to go from 0-5 and A10 play to the A10 championship? Like why that group of guys?
I would say just the high level character of guys we had, and then the fact that we were old team. We had so many seniors,
Yeah.
and guys were desperate of wanting to go out with a bang, with winning. I think starting the season out, we were trying to be an offensive team, and we had to change the narrative of what kind of team we were, and we became a strong, solely defensive team, and which is why I think we won is because we all bought in. We started having fun playing defense more than we did offense, and I think that was the main reason why.
Do you think that starting to buy in defensively was that like Keith Danbrock getting on you guys about that, like instilling that in you guys?
I think it was most definitely him, but I also think it was a wake up call. Going on five in conference to start. I mean, that's something that we never would have thought we would have done, especially being ranked so high coming in the preseason rankings. So we just had to make a change, and I had a meeting with the guys like, man, something got to change, and it's us playing, so it's got to be us. And me and Coach had a lot of talks about it, and he wanted to instill that in us, and I just backed him up in doing that. And like I said before, that is why we won is the fact that we locked up.
So we've heard, I mean, you hear it in sports all the time about players only meetings or like player led meetings, especially when things don't seem to be going well for a team. Oftentimes, like you said, players start meetings up and kind of right the ship.
Yeah.
Keith called you the best leader that he's ever coached last year. I will never forget that line. And, you just said you had a meeting with the guys. What are those like? What is your mindset going into that? How long do they last? Like, tell me about those meetings that you guys had.
It's special, man. Just getting a group of guys together and doing that without a coach in charge is monumental, man, because for once, we're in charge of this locker room now. It's just us in here. So going into it, it's about just being open, laying it all out there. I mean, we say we brothers, but are we really? Can we be honest with each other? And that was the one thing that stood out about this team the most, that all the different personalities from all across the country, with that, we all bought into the brotherhood. So those meetings, man, it was just everybody say their piece, say what you guys say. All right, then we fix it. We fix it. We go out there the next day in practice and fix it. But it wasn't just one meeting, we fix it in one practice and it's over. It was a continuous, a weekly thing where we were getting better. After practice, we would just have a group of guys meet. And you could tell, you could see how tight we became as the season went along.
Where did you learn your leadership skills? Or do you think that's something you were born with or your family gave to you? Like, where did this come from?
It's something that's always been instilled by my parents and my grandparents, that I'm a leader, always be a leader. Step in the classroom, you're a leader. Sit in the front of the class and having those characteristics. And I'm not afraid to be me. Being a smaller point guard, being the smallest dude on the court. Leaving the gym, you're gonna remember, oh, that little guy was talking the whole time, or that little guy, he had a voice, he had a strong voice, and I believe that that's just who I am. That's been instilled in me by, like I said, my parents and grandparents, and I've ran with it. That's one of my great characteristics as a player and as a person off the court.
So you talked about how the A10 championship, most fun you had in a game this year.
Yeah.
But then obviously you guys went to the big dance, the March Madness down in Omaha. Tell me about that experience. Like what stands out when you look back and think of that first round game, that second round game even?
Man, it was for me. I was just trying to live in the moment. I mean, every second, every minute of those days being in that moment, it was crazy. Because as a kid, that's what you dream of, right? And finally living out my dream for once, I got that taste. Now I want to go back and make me even hungrier. But it was fun just being able to do it with that group of guys. Jimmy Day. I was under them for 2 years. Trey Williams is like a big brother to me. He took me in. As a 17-year-old, he was my guy. That was like I said, like my big brother. But like I said, just doing it with them. It was a great group, really great group of guys, and we all had one goal. And especially with the start that we had, being 0-5, like hear that story, 0-5 to A10 champs. It
Mm.
was crazy. And then like the like going to Nebraska, seeing everything NCAA with my name on it with March Madness and those moments right there, I couldn't believe, and I cherish them. But now it's like I have to go back. I need to go back, and that's what I've been preaching to the new guys that we ain't coming here to mess around. It's time to work. So
Yep.
that's the sense that I have now. Looking back on it, I still have all my signs up in the room, and
There we
it's
go.
just
There we
yeah.
go.
So I'm still living on an all time high, but I want to go back.
Awesome, man. So you obviously bring back a lot of talent from last year's team. You brought in a lot of new guys. We'll get into that in a second. But going through a coaching transition isn't always the easiest thing. Obviously, Drew was on staff last year as the associate head coach. But now that Drew's the head coach, what has that transition period been like for you guys as players?
It's been great. I think he's doing a great job. I mean, it's a great sense of newness because he's young. He still got that fire lit under him. But Coach Drew is great, man. And he came up under Coach D, so a lot of his teachings are the same, in which I'm helping the new guys with. But Coach Drew, man, he's been bringing it every day. He's fun coach. And he like to have the music on while we warm up. He's about the newness, the new style. And I'm just so happy to be able to, play for him and, have this opportunity because not so many kids have an opportunity like this to have a new coach with such, great experience. And it's exciting. It's really exciting to have a young coach.
Do you think he could beat anyone on the team in one-on-one still?
No, he still talk like he can, but I don't think he can. I know my freshman year 2 years ago, he was still getting up and down with us, but he didn't let it go. So I don't
Okay.
think so.
All right, Wayne. Well, so let's look at this roster for this year. First, I'm going to start with the backcourt. Like your guys, Trey Dinkins is one of the guys you bring in, but Jake's coming back. Just talk about the backcourt. How does that dynamic work with you coming back, Jake coming back, and some of these other guys that are coming in this year?
It's fun, man, because you got to fight for what you want, right? But like I said before, man, this team is similar to the last couple of teams I had. Is that they're great guys. Like I feel that the staff did a great job of bringing in good people off the court and on the court. That has that sense of I want to win. And like Trey, man, phenomenal shooter. Can do it at every level. Jake, his toughness, his story. You don't even want to get into that, but how tough he is. Cam coming from Marshall. It's a good group. It's a good group. Max coming from GW.
Right?
It's so exciting because when you put all these guards in this backcourt together, how are they going to work? That's what everybody's thinking. How are they going to work? And to be honest with you, it's working pretty well in my eyes of what I've been doing and seeing in practice so far.
Awesome, man. So then you look at some of these guys, the foreign guys. Like I think
Yeah,
Jakob is one of the guys who really surprised a lot of people last year, especially on the stretch. Like he was making huge plays in the
yeah.
A10 tournament, even in the game against BYU. Jakob, Matus, some of these other wing forward type guys. Like what does that give you guys as guards offensively when you can look at a guy who's 6'8" and can shoot the ball?
And it's dangerous for other teams that got to see us because that's what makes us also so well because we can put them anywhere in my opinion. Because they have guard skills, but they can also guard the bigs if we need them to. But their work ethic and how hard they work, they play the right way. I think they both are going to have some pretty big years this upcoming season, and they're great guys. I mean they are phenomenal.
Awesome, man. So down low, David Dixon, Chavi's coming back, Alex Williams coming in from Furman. Uh, how does this front court work with you? Like your game specifically, why do you like playing with them? If you do.
I love playing with them. Just solely because Dave and Chabi, they have a good ear. Like they allow me to be me. And when I'm getting on them, they looking down at me, and it's actually pretty funny. But they allow me to be me, and they play the right way. Coming up for ball screens when they setting them and rolling. Just we've been playing well off each other. Plus, I came in with those guys, so we came in all together, class 2022. Um, and we've been growing our friendship on and off the court. We've been growing, Dave and Chavi. But just the fact that they can go get it whenever I throw the lob, and it's actually pretty fun playing with those guys. And they, like I said, they are great dudes, great big men that allow me to be me, take care of me when I'm out. I get knocked down. They the first ones right
Yeah.
there, making sure I'm all right. And Alex, I haven't seen him quite yet because he's out right now. But I'm excited to see. I've watched his film and things of that nature. He can shoot the ball at a high rate, and I mean, hopefully he get back soon and safely.
So right after the season concluded, Jimmy and Day Day straight to the Duquesne Hall of Fame.
Yes.
What kind of I guess leadership did they have? Maybe even just by example, and how can you follow in their footsteps? Like, what have they taught you so far?
Honestly, those two men, great, great leaders, great leaders, just in their own way. Like I'm the more talkative vocal one, but they had their own way. And the way that they led us in that tournament, like we not losing, like that's the attitude that they had, like we're not losing that. We're going to win the tournament. That that's what they taught me. Like going into their last year, they put everybody on their show, like we're not losing. I got y'all. I was amazed. And when you have a leader like that, that's able to say like we're not losing, then everybody else jumps in line like, all right, then we're not losing. And that's what I learned from them, to always have that chip on their shoulder. They always had a chip, and they felt that nobody could mess with them. And I adored that about them. That was the one thing that I did enjoy most learning from those two.
That's great, man. Well, Kareem, thank you so much for joining. I'm gonna wrap up just with one more question about you. What are your biggest goals? Like, what are your aspirations with basketball, with life? Like, what are you striving for?
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I'm striving to continue to make my parents and family proud back home. I want to continue to be a winner. As long as I play, I want to win wherever I go. And I just want to continue to be me. I don't want to allow no one to change who I am, no matter what. Continue to be me and lead this team, and hopefully go back to back. That is my main goal right now. It's about team winning another 18 and going to the tournament, but going further in the tournament. So, like I said, just making my family proud and continue winning and continue being Kareem Rozier.
There you have it. Thanks, Kareem. Really appreciate you, man.
Thank you so much. You have a good one.
Thank you. See you, man.
Thank you.